So now we're going to get into the 7 perspectives of modern psychology. And so they're all important. They're everything, but then they're all, not one is more important than the other. And so a lot of this that I learned from Don Leach, who's a wonderful AP psychology teacher from San Francisco. I did my training in Monterey actually with him. And so the biological perspective. This is they emphasize bodily events and the changes associated with the actions, the feelings, and thoughts. So looking at the actual chemicals, the nerves, the parts of the brain. And so what you want to do is we're going to give you some mnemonics here. You're going to make a fist, and this is your brain, and this is your brain stem. And so you go love dub, because your autonomic brain, nervous system is keeping you alive. And so this is, they have the higher brain, you have the mammal brain, and then the human brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. We'll come back to this, but I'm trying to give you a little bit of just perspective. So biological perspectives. Then you have the human brain is attached to the animal brain. The animal brain, it's been in evolution for over millions of years. It's kind of very primal, but it has things in the animal kingdom that we have. You have the amygdala. Say amygdala, fear and anger. And then you have the hippocampus, which relays memories. And then a part of the animal brain, you have the amygdala, fear and anger. The hippocampus relays messages. You have the hypothalamus, which contains our biological urges, our 4 F's: food, fight, flight, and fun or fornication, or an F word I shouldn't say. So that's what you will have with the biological perspective, that your genes, the biological factors contribute to the development of your personality, that you are the way you are because you were born that way, that it's genetic, it's from your DNA. Then you have the evolutionary perspective, which kind of goes hand in hand and looks at what did we get from animals. And so what you want to do for your mnemonic is just kind of feel up around the bridge of your, by your nose, so you can feel your incisors, your fangs that go all the way up to your nose, which is a reminder that we evolved, whether you like it or not. We evolved from apes. And so our mnemonic for this one is the monkey. Do the monkey. So it follows the functionalism traditions of William James. It affects all other areas of psychology. Then you get Pavlov and his dog and all that stuff. So you get the learning perspective, which emphasizes how the environment shaped and experiences shaped your actions, shaped who you are. The learning or behavior perspective, they kind of reject what goes on in the mind because you can't prove it. They claim they're the true science of psychology because they can observe behavior. They can take data on behavior. It includes behaviorism, rewards, punishments, conditioning, reinforcements, all that good stuff. Later on, you have the social cognitive learning theorist, which is Albert Bandura. Basically, the society and your brain and the consequences shape your behavior. That's much, much later. Our cartoon here, the bell rings, I get a treat. Bell rings, I get a treat. It went on that way for days. Then out of the blue, bell rings, I get nothing. Not at all. Nada. I mean, you seriously called the attack unprovoked? And so the mnemonic I have for you, for the learning perspective, is this. You know what this is. And if you get this, you've done something wrong. Now, if you get this, you've done something right. This is a learned behavior. It's a reward or a punishment. And so you can do this, all this stuff, but we know what this is. So if you're watching at home, give me the finger. And don't put the thumb out. It's not a fighter jet. Let it be out there and be proud. Yay. Next is the cognitive perspective, which is the most popular perspective of psychology today. I want you to rub your head. Just rub your brain because it's all in your head. It's all in your head. It's all your thoughts. It's all your mental set, how you tackle problems. Cognitive is Latin for to know. It emphasizes what goes on in your head. It's one of the strongest fields in psychology today. We have the left brain, right brain stuff, and this is an old Mercedes-Benz ad. You can look at it. We'll learn about how that this is kind of hogwash. There are things in it, but we're not one or the other. We're a little bit of both. And so that's the cognitive perspective. Rub your head. And then we have the sociocultural perspective, which looks at what society and culture, how it shapes our thought processes and our behaviors. And so if you are married, you have a ring finger. You have a ring on your left hand, which shows that it used to be that you paid your dowry. And that you paid for the marriage and everything. This was a contract. I like to think of it as a tiny little handcuff. Now, most of you high school students don't have these, so just think about shaking hands, which we're probably not going to do anymore. So maybe it's the elbow thing. But shaking hands used to be a way to show that you were unarmed, that you didn't have a weapon and you meant no harm. This is a social cultural thing. So how social and cultural forces shape behavior. Next, we have the psychodynamic perspective, which is Freud. So I want you to point to your rear end. Do you think about your rear end, your hindquarters very often? Probably not, because it's a little nasty. Everyone's butt's a little nasty, just like your unconscious, your subconscious is a little nasty and disturbing. This is Freud's legacy. Also, it's your childhood. We don't think about our childhood a lot, but that shaped who we are, and we repress things that aren't really pleasant to us. So it emphasizes the unconscious dynamics. Many dispute if it actually belongs in psychology. If we can't prove what's going on in the mind, how do you prove what's going on in the unconscious mind? They would fit better in philosophy or literature. Psychotherapists are attractive to average people because issues of death and sexuality, we all want to, that's interesting to us. That sounds good. Psychological movements influence as well. And then finally, we have the humanist perspective. So take your little pinky and talk to it. And you know what? You're so good. And you're going to live up to your full potential because you're good enough and you're smart enough. And gosh darn it, people love you. And someday maybe you'll be the leader and you can point the way. And so the humanist perspective is the power of positive thinking. Carl Rogers is the name you want to associate with this. It emphasizes free will, personal growth, resilience, and the achievement of human potential, that we can achieve everything through our positive mindset. We can cure diseases. You can make yourself feel better with the proper mindset. It's a positive psychology branch. And so all of these 7 perspectives, which you need to know inside and out for the whole year, need to be able to recognize the also known as and what names go with it. They all agree on gathering empirical evidence. They also reject the supernatural explanations. They're all equally important. We have George Carlin here. Here's a way you know about men and women. Women are crazy, men are stupid. The main reason women are crazy is that men are stupid. And then sports psychology and being tired of kicking around all the time. If you have any questions, let me know. Learn your mnemonics, all that good stuff. It helps. And so take care. If any questions, let me know.